Okay. All right. So let's get started here. We're actually Mastermind with Neil Schwartz. We're broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube today, along with what we're doing here on Zoom. So that's pretty exciting. We've got, I think, 11 or 1,200 people in our mastermind group that are signed up already. So they get notification of this, and then you're going on Facebook Live. So it should be a pretty decent sized audience today to listen to. Where is Marcy Murphy? Marcy, there she is. Good job. Thank you so much for coming out today and talking to us. How hot is it in the Scottsdale, Phoenix area? You got to unmute yourself, Marcy. Sorry.
I'm not.
You're good.
You're unmuted. Okay.
Somebody else muted me.
Yeah, got it. So how hot is it there? Do you know?
110 degrees.
110. Okay. So not typical door knocking weather, right? Even if you could.
Not typically.
No, that's fantastic. So most of your business come from phones or doors, in general? Do you do the doors in the off season, or the?
I don't anymore. I used to. When I first started, I was door knocking daily, and over the last, I guess, probably 10 years, I've transitioned to pretty much only the phones.
Fantastic. Good for you. And how long in the business? Give us a little Reader's Digest version of Marcy's world.
20 years in the business. 17 full-time, 16 with Mike Ferry.
Marcy, you don't look like you've been in 20 years in any business.
Good
for you. Good for you. Did you start like at 12?
I turned 50 about a month ago.
Whoa. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah. Is it the Arizona heat that kind of keeps you young looking?
Yeah, you would think it would like shrivel you, right?
Yeah, it could. I guess it could. Well, good. Excellent. So, so the first 4 years, I guess, without Mike Ferry, pre-MF, I mean, how'd you get started in real estate? What took you down that path, first of all?
So I have a degree in interior design. My husband's a contractor, and we thought that we'd be a good team for flipping homes. So in getting into the investment game, I ended up getting a license. I never really intended to sell professionally, but found out I loved it, found out I was kind of good at it, and it took over.
That's great. Excellent. And were you doing a lot of business right away, or it took you a few years to kind of get started here?
My first year full time, I did, I would say probably more than the average person does their first year, because I'm very energetic and I really threw myself into it. And then very shortly thereafter, I was introduced to Mike Ferry, and so
kind of took off from there.
Yeah.
Got it. And typically your sources of business are what?
Expireds, sphere of influence, past clients are the two, my biggest sources. And then I do some for sale by owners and some just listed, just sold, etc.
Okay. Very, very cool. And so when you started to rise up in the business, I mean, the mindset between, let's say, 15 and 20 transactions, moving you up to 50 to 60 transactions, what had to take place for you to be able to make that move?
Interestingly enough, I had a goal to get to 50 long before I reached it. But what really pushed me beyond it was switching coaches. And I started working with David Long, and truthfully, I wanted to impress him. I wanted him to think I was great, and it pushed me to do better, because I had what I considered one of the top coaches all of a sudden, and I felt like I had to live up to that. And that's what got me to pass that point. And that's what I said to him too. What had him take me on is I was talking to him, And I said, I want to get past 50 transactions. I keep hitting my head against this glass ceiling. I haven't been able to break through. And he said, who's your coach? I told him. He said, you know what? I'm going to coach you. I'll get you to 50.
Okay,
And
very cool. And before that, you were doing what? How many transactions?
in the probably around 40, 45 at that time.
Okay, all right. But you couldn't get past 50, and that was frustrating you.
I couldn't even hit 50. I
Couldn't
wanted
even
to
hit.
at least hit it, you know.
Got it.
I think
And
my
then
highest prior that was like 48. It was like, almost.
I got it. And then you switched coaches, kind of got revved up, had a little bit of what I call the show-off factor, kind of get in there. And then you hit in 2014, you bounced at 70-something deals, right?
Yes. Yeah. 76 was the peak that my team did. And I always like to give credit because it wasn't me alone. It was a team that did it. My typical team size over the years is 1 or 2 buyer's agents, an assistant, and a transaction manager.
Got it. Well, so you have a lot of people working with you. Good for you. Good job. How much of your business today is your list? Let's say of the 50 deals that you do now, what percentage of that is listings taken?
Probably about 80 to 85%.
Okay. And are they all your listings?
Yeah. So right now my business is entirely generated by me. I do have a buyer's agent, but he's not generating. He's handling the buyers I'm generating.
Okay. So you're doing probably 40 listings sold and maybe 10 buyer sides?
Yes.
That's more or less?
Yeah, more or less.
Got it. Okay. And so you're going out on the listing appointments, you're prospecting every day?
Every day.
Got it. And I think we talked earlier, you're prospecting on average about 3 hours per workday.
Yeah, that's my goal. I would say I probably actually don't quite, I think my average is like 2 3/4 hours, but the goal is to hit 3 every day. But
So if the goal is 15 hours a week, you're probably hitting 13, 14?
Right. And
Okay.
part of that is also what's happening in the world right now. I'm used to having this desk that you see behind me occupied by a full-time assistant. And because I haven't had anyone in my office with me, I am definitely getting distracted by things and doing things I shouldn't be doing. I've got a part-time assistant who's also working from her home, but things that happen, I'm dealing with things that are keeping me from what, if I had her here full time, I'd be hitting those 3 hours, no problem.
Got it. So let's talk about that for a second. So middle of March, I think Arizona, like California, kind of went into stay at home, correct?
Correct. Yep.
Got it. So when that happened, I mean, was it still full speed ahead, or did something changing you, or did it slow down and then speed up? What was going on?
So my initial response was, what do I do? I just kind of assumed business was going to drop. I prospect from home every morning anyway, so that wasn't going to change. But I just kind of assumed that things were going to stop, and I did back off a little bit. But as soon as I saw that wasn't the case, I ramped right back up again.
Okay, so business didn't drop off much for you because you were out prospecting, trying to generate some business, correct?
Correct. And I think that part of the reason why I backed off was the confusion of, not really knowing how I should be prospecting right now. What are people going to want to buy houses right now? Do they want to hear from me? Am I going to offend an expired listing if they took their home off the market because of COVID? I didn't really know what to do. And it took, I don't know, a week or however long it took for me to adjust and for me to get okay with making the calls. And once that mental shift took place, I just went right back at it. And also I started hearing, talking to other people who I mastermind with, that they're just calling, they're still calling expireds. They're not letting it stop them. I'm like, oh, why am I letting it stop me then? Okay.
Isn't it interesting how the mental side of it gets, we get that drunk monkey running around in our head,
Yeah.
and it has nothing to do with reality. It's just running around in our head saying, you shouldn't, you couldn't, maybe you shouldn't, maybe you should not, maybe, and then we
Right.
don't. Yeah. So good for you. Congratulations. Okay. So you got through COVID, business stayed pretty solid. You're still on track for your 50 transactions or so this year?
I'm a little bit off.
Okay. All right. But still in the target range?
Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And so what's the post-COVID look like for you in terms of activities that you're going to do?
But what post-COVID? I'm not exactly sure what you're asking.
Yeah. What are you going to do now? COVID's kind of behind us.
Oh,
and
not here it isn't.
Oh, really? Tell me about that.
Well, as soon as our governor said that, we could leave the house and go back to work, and COVID in Arizona spiked, and it's still spiking. As a matter of fact, I just had a $4.5 million buyer cancel because of the news that Arizona's the highest rate of increase in COVID at the moment.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
So I wouldn't say it's behind us. Not here, it isn't.
Okay. All right. Well, we talk about that here in California, for everybody to be concerned that it could spike, and if it does, it's going to slow the economy again, and the economy doesn't need much more slowing.
Right. I mean, our governor hasn't shut us down again. I'm surprised. I don't know if he's going to, but things are definitely not getting better at the moment.
Okay. All right. Interesting. So we talked the other day, and normally I don't do this, but it was kind of in our conversation that maybe I could work with you and coach you through a couple of things that maybe we could push you beyond the 50. Are you open to that conversation right now? I could coach you in front of these wonderful agents. There's only about 75 or 80 on the call right now. So, and we are going live on Facebook. Do you mind?
I don't mind at all.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you a couple questions. All right. So we're just going to have this coaching call between you and I. Let's see if I can help you have a breakthrough here. All right.
Okay.
All right. So let me ask you, your business, you said, comes from mostly expireds and mostly past client and sphere, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And I think we talked earlier, and you said it was about 35% past client and sphere and 35% expireds were the bulk of it. And then there's a little bit of just listed, just solds, and maybe some for rent by owners and some for sale by owners, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So if we took the 50 transactions that you normally do, and we took 35% of that, that means about 15 to 17 deals are past client and sphere, and about 15 to 17 deals are expireds. Okay?
Okay.
So let me ask you a question. So if we used, it's supposed to be 15 hours a week, but what if we use, let's say you said 14 hours a week would be generally what you hit on a regular basis in terms of prospecting?
Yes.
Okay. So if we took that 14 hours, how many of those hours on a daily basis each week do you think you're working your past client and sphere? Do you call them hours and hours a day? Do you call them half an hour a day? What do you think that number is?
It varies greatly. There's days where I'm on that all morning long. But I would say if we average it out over a week's time, probably about a half an hour to 45 minutes a day.
So a half an hour, well, an hour a day would be 5 hours. So a half an hour a day would be 2.5 hours. So if I said it was 3 hours a week, is that a fair number?
Sure.
And that 3 hours a week gives you your 15 to 17 transactions, right?
Okay.
And so if let's say with with the 11 hours that's left over, how many of those 11 hours do you do expireds?
I call expireds 1.5 to 2 hours a day, every day.
So 2 hours a day is about 10 hours a week.
Yep.
So about 2/3 of your time is resulting in 30% of your income. And less than 1/3 of your time, I'm talking about prospecting time,
Right.
is giving you 30% of your income. So
Right.
okay, so hold that thought for a second. Now, past client and sphere, you'd mentioned you had about 450 people in there.
Correct.
Okay. So 450 people, and you talk to them once a quarter, more or less, and that gives you the 15 or 16 transactions.
Yes.
Okay. Look, Mike Ferry says this all the time. If you talk to your past client and sphere at least 4 times a year, but maybe because in recent times, we're talking to them a little bit more, and we have a theory on that, but you should be able to get 10% of that business in direct and indirect business, correct?
Correct.
So that's 45 deals. Now, here's the thing that a lot of agents don't realize. In your case, you're getting 15 to 17 deals, which is cool, but I'm here to tell you that there's actually 45 deals there, and you only got 15 of them, which means that there's 30 you didn't get. That's the key here. There's 30 that went somewhere else. How's that make you feel? Not terrific, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah, not terrific. All right. So here's a thought. What if, and this is where I think I can get you to break through the 50 and get you to maybe 60. Okay. I don't know if it'll get you to 75 or 80, but I think I can add 10 more transactions to your business this year.
Okay.
What I want you to do is I want you to carve out a percentage of your time every week that you're dedicating to expireds. I don't want you to stop expireds because you're making some money off of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd like you to add, I don't know, what if you added 3 hours a week, let's say another half an hour, 45 minutes a day, okay? So that you actually doubled the 3 hours to 6 hours. You're going to reduce your expired number slightly, but it's not going to cut out, it might cut out 1 or 2 expireds a year. However, I believe those 3 extra hours will get you another 10 transactions in the past client and sphere base.
Okay.
If 3 gets you 15 now, it stands to reason that 3 more should get you 15 more, but maybe it won't. So let's get you 10.
Okay.
All right. So write this down. Email weekly, snail mail monthly, and phone call every other month. And I think you could do that by adding 3 more hours a week. And that 3 hours will give you 10 deals. And that 10 deals, what's your average gross commission?
10,000.
So that 10 deals is worth $100,000 to you. So what I just did is added $100,000 a year to your bottom line. And all you have to do, you don't have to do 1 more hour's worth of work in this whole conversation.
Right.
It's just move the hours you're working slightly to add the $100,000. So
Okay.
Marcy, let me ask you a question. Does this make sense to you, first of all?
Absolutely. It makes sense.
Is this something that you would consider doing?
Yes.
Okay. And when you add $100,000, what are you going to do with the money? Okay, you're already spending whatever you're spending. what would you do with that $100,000? Let's earmark it for something that's important to you. What would you do?
I would probably buy my husband an RV.
Ah, okay. Tell me about that. Is that because you want to get rid of him? Or no?
No, I say it's for him, but it would be for both of us. But it's just something that he wants. It's something that is gotta have. I'm
Okay.
the primary breadwinner.
Okay.
My goals tend to be what drives me and what get done because of that. So it would be, okay, here's something that we both will enjoy, but it's absolutely more on his wish list than mine, but it would definitely be the next big thing that I would do.
Going on trips, that's important to you, huh?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, we travel anyway.
You work to go on a trip, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So getting him an RV. So do you have is this one of those big luxury executive RVs that cost, $250,000?
No, actually not
Bigger?
at all. Because part of the deal is he wants to be able to just go easily and park it easily. And if we want to run to the store, you can drive it and go to the store. It's not going to be.
So do you have a picture of one?
He does.
What it looks like? All right. All right. Okay, good. So how much did one of those cost?
About 120.
Okay, good. So essentially with this, you could almost pay cash for it.
Right.
Okay. So is that something that you want to do with and for him by the end of 2020, or do you want to do it in the first quarter of 21? When would you like to complete this by?
Let's say the end of 2020 would be fabulous.
The end of 2020. Okay. So the end of 2020, in order to add 10 more transactions, what do you have to do starting this afternoon?
The number one thing I need to do is work on my mindset about it, because what keeps me from calling my sphere more often is absolutely my mindset. It's,
And what is it? What's keeping you from doing that? Because, by the way, this right now is what keeps everybody from doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're in everyone's territory right now. So
Right.
Tell me what it is. Tell me what it is for you.
The two things what I have going on in my head is, they just heard from me a couple months ago. They don't want to hear from me again. And I'm going to say the same thing I said last time. They don't need to hear it again. And I don't have anything new to say. They don't know why do I keep calling them? I'm probably going to be bothering them. They don't. So that's all that goes on is.
Okay. So number one, if 30 people, we already established that 30 other people are going to do business with somebody else, directly or indirectly, right?
Right.
Sometimes those people work with people that they shouldn't be working with, right?
Right.
And they're not getting the best service or the best deal for their house, or they're not getting the best purchase, right?
Right.
It's your fault that's not happening.
Right.
Does that bother you? Doesn't it bother you that they're not getting the best service?
Yes.
Okay. And that maybe the best deal, and maybe even it's costing them a few $1,000s. Okay. It's your fault.
It's my fault.
Okay. So first of all, they need to hear from you, right? Right?
I guess so.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me ask you a question in terms of what to say. So let's go in this direction. Every single week, somebody lists and sell a house in the areas our clients work. Yes or no?
Yes.
Every single week, a property goes pending or gets listed. Marcy, just call and tell them that. Hey, I don't know if you know this or not, but the Joneses down the street sold a piece of property and they sold it for $960,000. Do you know anybody that might be interested in moving into your neighborhood? Simple. Everyone wants to hear about what's selling in their neighborhood. Call and tell them. Okay.
You're right.
Call and tell them. So can you do that?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Will you do it?
Yes.
All right. We could go down the street and I could push, 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 push. But I think I'm going to get some movement out of you, right?
Yes.
And I think it's going to move you from 50 to 60 deals before the end of the year, right?
Excellent. Yes.
Okay. And you're going to keep in touch with me on a weekly basis and just text me. And if your mind goes off a little bit, you're going to think in terms of it's your fault. Those 30 people, excuse me, those 10 people are going to be working with somebody that isn't really a good person,
Yes.
a good real estate agent.
Yes. I'm writing all this down.
You're an amiable, right?
No,
You're not.
not at all. Robert's
Yeah.
shaking his head. Robert, what am I?
Driver.
No.
No. Expressive.
I'm expressive.
No.
Yeah.
It was
Good
one
job.
of the two.
Good job.
I actually was coached to take down my artwork that usually decorates my room here when I'm on Zoom calls.
I think it'll bother you at some level that these 30 people are not being serviced at the highest level. And I want you to keep that in front of you, please.
Yes.
And I want you to also keep in front of you that there are really 45 people in that 450 that are going to buy or sell a house or know of somebody that are going to buy or sell a house in the next 12 months. And it's your responsibility to touch them.
Got it.
All right, good job. Let's give her a big hand. Good stuff. Very, very scary out here with doing stuff like that. I love it. So, questions for Marcy. Questions on some of the things that she's working on, the way she does her business, the way she approaches it, the fact that here she is, 50 transactions is really a good amount of transactions in almost any marketplace, and she's stuck there. And a lot of us are stuck in a very similar thing. So congratulations, Marcy, for being stuck, for failing at a really high level.
Thank you.
Good stuff. You're welcome. Josie.
Hi, Marcy.
Hi, Josie.
Thank you for spending time with us. Hey, you said earlier that your assistant sits back there on that other desk, I guess.
Yes.
So, are you in your office or at home?
At home.
So your assistant comes to your home
Correct.
every morning.
Yes.
Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. Okay. Excellent. Other questions for Marcy?
Marcy,
Hi.
Karen right here. Hey, what kind of, since you're expressive and have an art flavor to you, what does your pre-listing package look like?
My pre-listing package, I use a Berkshire Hathaway folder. I have in there my references, my marketing plan, my daily schedule, my track record. I have a sheet that's 10 reasons to hire a Mike Ferry trained agent. I have a couple of marketing pieces about Berkshire Hathaway. And I think that's about it. If I'm hand delivering it, I'll put in a sample of one of the magazines we advertise in.
Okay, good question, Karen. Thank you. Good stuff. Marcy, let me ask you a question on that. Do you include the comps and the suggested price when you delivered the package?
Oh yes, absolutely. So the CMA is in there, and I also put in there the listing contract and agency disclosure.
All right, good, excellent, good stuff. All right, so
And
other question.
where my expressive nature comes in, Karen, is the cover letter. I had to work to keep that cover letter at one page.
There you go. Thank you for that.
Robert suffers from that too. Good job. Okay, any other questions? Other questions? I can't see the chat box, Robert or AJ. I can't see if something's coming.
No questions in there as of right now. So Marcy, actually, here's a question that came in to me. For newer agents, how would you recommend they get started to 10 deals in a market like this?
I'll tell you, it's hard to answer that question because it depends on if they are new to the market or if they've lived there for a while. Do they have a sphere of influence? But I was asked this question fairly recently. Actually, it was in the first week of January by a new agent. He was in the business for 2 months. And he said, what would you tell a new agent? How would you advise me to get started? And I said, I would do 2 things if I were new. I would join a successful team to learn from a top producer, and I would join Mike Ferry Coaching. And long story short, this agent joined Mike Ferry Coaching and is now my buyer's agent.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
Good. Good stuff. All right. So, other questions for Marcy today?
This is Tess. Hi, Marcy. Thank
Hi,
you
Tess.
for being in the call. I want to understand, basically you did say that you have 450 past clients. So aside from, like what Neil said, sending emails, was there any type of touching that you are actually working as far as keeping in touch with those clients?
Yeah, that's actually a great question. I just recently started working with a marketing company that texts my clients on a fairly regular basis. And the very first text they sent the very first text they sent out for me, I got a response back from an agent in Utah that said, I think you should call my father-in-law. I think he needs to buy in your area. And I called the father-in-law, and he had to buy within 2 weeks, and he had $2 million to spend. And that one text message paid for the marketing team
Forever.
for like 3
Forever.
years. Yeah.
Forever.
That's good. That's good.
That's great. Great story. Good stuff. All right. Good.
Yeah.
Good question, Tess. Thank you. Other questions? Other questions out there?
So a question came in, Marcy. So with Arizona, you mentioned it's not over COVID yet. What's your motivation plan to just keep going, not let it affect you on a daily basis?
That's a really good question because it's not easy. I mean, I have days where like I think I mentioned I had lost this big deal because of it, and it's stressful because you don't know what to do. Nobody really knows the right answer as to how to deal with this. But I know that I've got a family to support, I've got employees to support, and I mean and I need to make money, and I'm going to keep going. I don't know. I mean, I can't imagine. I'm in my office every single morning at 7 a.m. and I just can't even imagine not doing that. I'm going to come in and I'm going to prospect every day, no matter what. I'm out, if I'm going out and meeting clients, I wear a mask, and I always offer the option of a Zoom meeting instead of a live meeting. But as far as I mean, motivation is concerned, I have a mastermind group through Mike Ferry it's actually a book club, and we're always reading something very positive and inspiring. And so I'm always reading good things, and I've got that amazing group of people to talk to every week. And I've got another couple of gals that are my affirmation partners, and every morning, first thing in the morning when I get into the office at 7 a.m., I'm on the phone with a couple of other great agents doing our affirmations together. So it's a constant. You have to be diligent to keep your mindset, and it's not, and it's definitely something I have to work on every day, just like everybody else.
Good. Great question and great answer. Thank you. Other questions for Marcy as we wrap it up here?
So question came in, I think you kind of answered this. What's the percentage of calls you make from, well, you did expireds, database for sale by owners. And Neil, you kind of went through that on the coaching, right? It was.
Yeah. She's, what percent? She's, it's less than, it's 3 hours a week. So it's 20% of her time is on past client and sphere. And almost 80%, certainly 70% of her time is on expireds. It's a big number. Marcy, you focus on that conversation, that part of the conversation, and you will positively adjust probably by at least 10 deals. It could be 20, because once you get into it and you realize how much business is in that 45, Mike says 10%.
Right.
Mike says 10%. For some of the agents that I have in our company, I've told you, your personality, the way you treat your clients is so great, it could be 15%. And 15% is off the charts money-wise for you guys. And Marcy, I think you could be one of those people.
Thank you.
Okay, so good stuff. Very, very good stuff. Okay, unmute yourselves. Let's give Marcy a big hand. Good job here. Woohoo! Thank you so much. So appreciated and very helpful. We're going to make some money because of this. So thank you. Thank you very much.